Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to another weekly SHLOG. We are here with Easton, who is learning again on tires. Again, he can rebuild a motor, but he doesn't know how to change tires. So it's pretty funny. But this is our weekly shop vlog, or SHLOG we call it, where we show you all kinds of cool dirt bike stuff, between, teaching people how to change tires to rebuilding complete motorcycles, tool spotlights, mail time. Anyway, lots of cool stuff happens here. If you got here because of another channel, consider sticking with us through this video. It's a lot of fun, I promise. People love it. So yeah, here we go. All right, Easton, here we go. So yeah, use that to break the bead, which you already did. Go ahead and spin it around, get the bead broken all the way around. So just kind of boop, boop, boop. Just, it's not going to do it right there on the, there's a rim lock there, dude. Oh. So keep going. Yeah. Pass it. There you go. And go ahead and you're going to take that nut all the way off of that tube. But you're going to come in here. Since that's there, we're trying to save this tube if we can. Come over here and go like, so there's the rim lock. You can't start right there because it'll hit the rim lock. So you got to come over here. Maybe, I don't know how many degrees that is, but 32 degrees. Go in there with the, use the curved one on this. So you're going to go like that. And when you do that, you want to push down on that side so it drops in.
Like the 3 at a time?
And then... No, not on tubes. You just do like, you'll see. You go like that. Then you put the next one in, the next one in, and then you start leapfrogging the last two. So, kids these days. So yeah, there you go. And then the next one, you can tuck one underneath the rotor. Huh? Like, I'll take this and go like that. And then, careful, because it flipped that over. That's backward. There you go. Probably the closer you get to it, the easier it's going to be. Like right there. But you have to, yeah. So go in even closer. Let's go give our UPS guy a hard time. Oh, it's not a UPS guy. It's a UPS girl. Oh, sweet. Stuff from MX Tech, because we have a set of forks here that are a part that have the Lucky cartridges, and we need some stuff from them. So, sweet. That's good. Oh, looks like she might be bringing more. Anyway, Easton's struggling. Okay. So when it won't do it, you kind of come back a little bit. And then, and so see, this is not down. Now I'll start rotating the left. There you go. All right. And to be fair, Easton building motors goes pretty well most of the time. He's learning though, so it's good. Yeah, we're gonna get this tire off, and I gotta go check and see what tire we're gonna put on here for him. But that is him. Now my next project actually is gonna be on Daisy, my old 300, my 2018 300 XCW that I sold to my good friend Rich Pierce, and it's having some issues, which is weird. It's not terribly weird. It does have over 600 hours on it. It's been pretty good for him. He's been winning a lot of races on it, so that has been awesome. But it, yeah, it's doing the weird bog at high speed or high RPM. So I'm gonna go check that, make sure that is, confirm the customer complaint, and then I'm gonna pull it in here. We're gonna figure out what's going on. All right, guys, just confirmed. Yes, this bike does not run right on top. Also, it's got a weird problem with the, let's see. Yeah, so if you hit this button, let me show you. If you hit the start button, and then you go. So it's got an issue with the ground. He already mentioned, he told me that. So I'm gonna take that off, see if I can't get that fixed, and see if that has anything to do with it. I kind of don't think so, but it definitely could. By the way, Easton is still struggling.
Just trying to follow it.
It's fun to watch. So, I have a feeling, I'm hopeful that all of our problem is with whatever's going on here. The ground strap's no good, and if I push the button, aha! So there must be a break here because it's when the ground strap hits that frame that it makes it work. So that's interesting. I would think you can run this without the battery, so because it's carbureted and all that. So I am gonna fix this for him because that's silly that doesn't work. I'm not really sure why that. I don't know. Anyway, I can sort that out, but it also does that. Like this light comes on when it's interesting because of that. I don't know if let's see if it goes off. Oh, there, yeah. So, all right. We got to sort that out for sure. I might dig around and see if I can find one. But I want to look in the carburetor because I can't tell you how many times I have seen a main jet laying in the bottom of a float bowl. Now, I'm pretty sure that Rich already took the carb apart and cleaned it. So I doubt that is the problem, but we're gonna check anyway. All right, guys, gonna pop this thing open, see. Hopefully we get real lucky and there's a jet laying in the bowl. That would be best case scenario. Sadly, no. Whoa. That might be way too big of a jet. So 170. So this bike took bigger jets than normal because of the RK Tech head, but man, I feel like a 170 is huge. So normally 300s are like a 155, 158 around here. So I'd say like max up to a 162. So yeah, we're gonna jet it and see what changes. All right, we're gonna go with the 165 and try that. I have a feeling it's gonna get a lot better. He also didn't do the same base gasket setup I did, and head, because like he still got an RK Tech head, but he changed some stuff when he did a top end because I told him to, if he wanted to run a little bit more normal stuff. So I might have had a 170 in there. I just kind of don't remember putting that big of a jet in. All right, so we're gonna try that jet, but on to the situation with this. It's interesting because, like I said, while this ground strap doesn't look great, it doesn't look like it's disconnected. So I'm gonna set you guys down, actually over here, and I've got it unbolted like you saw. Button's not working now. I'm just gonna touch the end. Okay. So it's something with how the connection, and I'm sure, yeah. It is something with how this was making connection here, because if I just touch it here, it works. Which that makes sense because, like I said, the ground strap just doesn't look, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a tool in here. I'm gonna clean that up and go to bare metal. I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna bolt it back up and see if it works. And guys, the tool I'm going to use is this sick cordless die grinder from Milwaukee. This thing is amazing. All right, let's see what happens. So this, not touching anything. The guys, grounds are crazy important on these bikes. This one's a carbureted, older school style motorcycle. Although this is the unicorn because it's got the counterbalance motor, but a carburetor and a Kickstarter, so it's kind of awesome. Yeah, anyway, that's crazy important. So now we're going to go ride this thing, see, hopefully it doesn't feel too lean. I did ask Rich what the plug looked like. He said it was pretty wet and black. So, yeah, I think it's just too rich.
Morgan, what's up?
Richard Piercington. So your bike runs way better now with the smaller jet.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to figure out, because you just did the top end, right?
Yes.
And you changed anything as far as like the setup?
As far as the what now?
The setup, like with the base gaskets or any of that stuff?
No, I did. I put it basically exactly back where it was.
So is there 2 base gaskets on there?
Yes.
Just weird, because like it's had a 170 in it, which just sounds crazy big. Even for, because let's put it this way, a normal 300 would be like a 158.
Okay.
And like the RK, I thought I remembered this bike, and I can't remember all the.
I haven't changed it. It's basically
the same.
Exactly the way it was. Well, you didn't have that carburetor in there.
Oh, I didn't.
You had the Chinese carburetor in there.
Okay.
So I wonder if you were running the last time you had that, you were running at a different elevation or something, maybe.
Dude, that might have been like sea level.
That's a sea level jet?
Probably.
Because you took that thing to Arizona before you sold it to me, didn't you?
Yep.
I wonder if that
Arizona
jet.
Yeah, I would have put a big ass jet in it.
Okay.
To go to Arizona.
So I wonder if you changed to the Chinese carburetor right after that trip.
All right, guys, looks like, I don't know if you heard the whole story there, but it looks like we probably had the wrong jet, because this bike had a Chinese carburetor, crappy metering rod. Anyway, it's a long, sordid story with that carburetor. And then I sold to Rich. I still had that carb on it, I believe. I think he ran it for a little while, and then he put this back on it. And I think the last time I had the good carb, the Kian 36 on it, because this does not have the Mikuni that came on it either. I must have had a sea level jet in that thing to go to Arizona or Oklahoma or wherever it was that I went. So sweet, we got a 165 in there. The bike's running good. Now I got to change tires, and fortunately these are not tubeless like his old bike. So this is going to go well. Right on, guys, we got her all done. We got fresh new knobbies back and front. Those are Tusk T35s, which I really, really like. I'm going to go take this thing for another rip, make sure it's still running like I think it's going to run. And I'm super happy he's got fresh knobs, because it is going to be a wet and muddy race this weekend. So I got fresh knobs too. All my kids have fresh knobs, and the race team, the Highland Cycles race team, all has fresh tires. Really happy about that. So take this thing for a rip, and we'll be back and get on to the next job. All right, guys, so next on the list is actually going to be a 520 KTM. I know a lot of you guys are going to be super excited about that. All the RFS nerds unite. But real quick, I want to do a little shout out mail time to my good buddy John Seahorn at SXS Slide Plates. I know a lot of you guys have been yelling at me to use their skid plates for a long time. To be honest, I've had a lot of other companies offering me skid plates, so I've been trying those out. I know that John's are like probably the best in the business, and they're amazing. But finally, we get an opportunity because we're putting it on the YZ250 build. Super stoked, guys. Check this sucker out. Big, bad, glorious SXS slide plate. And the thing I love about John is that they are all customized. I really appreciate it. He even put our logo there, and he even knows how to draw it. He made it look like the H and the C, which is rad. YZ250 build. So stoked. Also got a hat, so we're going to definitely be wearing that. And then a whole bunch of rad stickers. John, thank you so much. Guys, if you need a skid plate, please go check out SXS. They're made in the U.S. He's up in Idaho. I'll also give a shout out to Molecule Motorsports. They're made in the U.S. too. They also build really cool plastic ones. So both those companies are amazing. Both their skid plates are really, really cool. So really stoked to get that thing on this bike because Ewan's got no skid plate right now, and we're going racing in the rocks this weekend. So yeah, got to get that sucker on there. Really stoked. Now I'm going to go grab that 520, pull it up here, and we're going to get to work. All right, guys, we got the RFS up on the lift. I'm going to just take the seat. Well, I already got the seat off. Tank off. Get this carburetor off of here, bring it over to the bench, and we're going to start rebuilding it. We also got a petcock from All Balls. Honestly, these things have been really good. As you guys know, I'm honest about parts. I hate All Balls fork seals. They suck and leak. I really like their carb stuff, and I like these petcocks. They've been very, very good. So yeah, let's get that sucker off of here, get over on the bench, and get to work. All right, guys. So ran into a bit of a stopper on the 520. Unfortunately, I took the carburetor off and float bowl gasket cracked. And anyway, they don't make a kit like All Balls and all those guys make a kit for these things. They do make a kit for the mid body and for the accelerator pump, which I have and bought before I even took it apart. And I just wanted to make sure I didn't order things I didn't need. So they're really expensive from KTM. So I got that in pieces. I got the carb in the ultrasonic getting cleaned up. But yeah, I got some parts to order for that. So another 2 bikes still a part of my lift. Ken's is going to be a part for a while because we're just slowly working through that thing. We were waiting on one part for the suspension before we valve it. But yeah, I've got some other things I can do to that. So I'll get to that probably tomorrow. But real quickly though, I'm doing a set of forks off of a 24 TE300 Pro. And I want to see if this fork has the loose base valve too. So join me. This one's already coming apart easier. And no, base valve, all good. So that's a good thing. I like it. So now I'm going to dump this thing, put fresh oil in it, be good to go. All right. That guy is bled and happy. Put our clicker koozie, available at highland-cycles.com, on there. Set it down here while we do the seals and we check this fork for scratches, because this is the one that really puked. They both leaked, but I guess the brake side was sadly the one that really let go, as is, you know, usual. It's always the brake side, so you get oil on your pads and everything. Guys, I gotta stop right here real fast and just say a massive thank you to the biggest sponsor of this channel, Rocky Mountain ATV MC. You see, I'm a company man. I got their shirt on and everything. Actually, this shirt is sweet. It's too big now, but it's super lightweight and it's black, so it's perfect for working. But they're also the guys who made that fork seal driver. It's Tufts fork seal driver. It's freaking really, really good. It's nice and heavy. It fits well. All the good stuff. All the things a fork seal driver needs to do and be. Yeah. Also made this little tool for taking apart the inner chambers. And they support this sport, man. They have done a ton of work for our Weeby Racing, giving out course markers, all kinds of good stuff. They help guys like me. They help other creators doing stuff like that. So, like, I'm a big fan of them beyond the fact that I do make some money with them. So they're rad. I really, really, really like them. So, as you know, there's a link in the description. You can use that. It does help us. We make some money if you use that. You do need to, you can't bookmark that page like after you do it. You have to go to, the best way to do it is to go to highland-cycles.com that home page, that first thing you see is actually just a picture of Rocky Mountains, like on my landing page. But if you go there and you bookmark our page, highland-cycles.com, and then every time you want to, shop online for motorcycle parts, you just go to Highland Cycles webpage, and then you just click the picture of our landing page. That'll go to the actual landing page, and then we get credit for it. So anyway, enough of that. Get these forks back together. Give this guy a call. Get him back on the trail. All right, guys. So next on the lift is another set of forks. These are actually the forks off of my old bike, Daisy, that Rich Pierce now owns. That we were actually doing the work on the rejetting and getting that thing dialed in. It's running great. He took it out to make sure it's running good. It was running really well. And then he ended up with the fork seal leak. So he's racing this weekend with us. And so we got to jump on these suckers and get these done for him right away. So I am going to get in here. These are Explorer forks with our valving and cool guy stuff in them. So yeah, I've probably shown these specific forks before. So I probably won't bring you in unless I find something super interesting, which I hope I don't, because I'm pretty sure I was the last person to work on them. We got some really sweet seals in there. We got the dual compound seals, which, I mean, any seal will eventually fail. So, all right, guys, we got all the parts for the carburetor for this 520. Finally, it's all here. And here's an interesting thing. So we can buy the mid-body gasket from All Balls. You can buy the accelerator pump from All Balls. You can't buy a lot of the other gaskets, but you can buy them from KTM, and they are over $100 for all these gaskets. It comes with the accelerator pump, so I guess we didn't need that, so we can return that. That's no big deal. But yeah, anyway, kind of a pain in the butt, but that's all right. We're going to, let's see. Yeah, made in Japan too, by the way, because it's for Akian, which are Japanese. So anyway, I'm going to rebuild this thing. I don't know if you guys want to see inside that. Probably not. It's not that big a deal. It's just another FCR style carburetor. It's the old FCR style. So yeah, I'm going to get this thing done, get it on here, and then I'll bring you back in when we fire this thing up and see if it runs good. All right, guys, that 520 ran great. It's out front. Anyway, it runs really, really well. Starts right up, put a new battery in it too. Fires right up, runs just like it's supposed to with all brand new parts in the carb. I can only say that, guys, if you're dealing with an FCR carburetor that are having any kind of issue at all, just get the mid-body, get every rubber piece, take the thing completely apart, blow through every passageway, and put it back together, and you should have no problems. They're just a very complicated carburetor, and there's a lot going on. So it's best to just do it right. So instead of just fiddling with jets and whatever, just take the thing off. If you have an ultrasonic, use that. If you don't, if you got a buddy with one, use that. Whatever, do whatever you got to do, and make it good, because it makes them so good. Hopefully I'll remember to take you out there and show you how easy that thing starts here in a bit. But next on the lift is this Beta 300RR that we are going to lower. It's got the Sachs stuff front and rear, and this gentleman bought all this stuff. So we've got lower spring. We've got all the stuff for the forks. And then we've got springs. Oh, I guess those are for the forks and that's for the shock. So, yeah, let's dig into this thing, see what it's going to take. All right, guys, we got the everything apart, damper rod. So we're going to take this sucker off. And here's how this is going to work. We're going to take this circlip, and go like that. And then this piece is replacing this piece. All right, there we go. Got that on there. It's kind of a bear, honestly, but we got it done. So now reassemble. Now that limits that from coming out, and that shortened this whole thing, and we'll use these new springs and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to rebuild the forks, got them all cleaned up, got new seals and bushings for them. We'll get this back together. We'll do the other one, and then I will bring you back in to show you how it works with the shock. It's basically the same idea. All right, guys, so lots going on. So the Beta got the forks lowered. Super happy about that. That worked out great. Everything went well. You saw that. That was good. Actually, really glad we worked on those because the oil inside them was disgusting. Quick note, 50 to 60 hours on suspension oil, guys. 50 to 60 hours, change it. You'll be very happy if you do that. Bike will work way better. Shock, got the shock off, was gonna do it. Hang on, gotta move. There's the body. Shock oil was gross, all that good stuff like normal, but a couple things on Beta shocks. First of all, seal head comes apart like this, which is kind of interesting. The screws in there, whatever. That's fine. It's kind of neat, honestly. But it's got a seal that looks like this, which is not like any other seal on Earth. And actually, I already knew that. And this guy brought all his own parts in. I had hoped that maybe he had a shock seal situation, but he didn't. So I dug around and looked and looked and looked, and I cannot find a seal like this. It's a 16 millimeter inside diameter, and it's only like 25 on the outside, which is way smaller than everything else. So there it sits. The other thing, guys, is that you can't take the seal head off this way. There's a stopper right. Anyway, there's a way that it won't come off. So you got to take the freaking clevis off the bottom, which actually came apart easier than I thought. So that's cool. But anyway, bummer. So now that's stuck on my lift. Kenneth's is stuck on my lift just because I'm waiting to get that done. And Kenneth, when you watch this, I'm sorry I have not prioritized your bike, but I will. Next week, finally, we're going to get back to it. I think, well, I'm still waiting on a bladder for your shock, which is whatever. Hopefully that shows up soon. But everything else will be getting together and moving forward. So apologize, Ken, but we're getting there. But you told me not to worry, so I'm not worrying. The other thing, though, Kenneth, and to everyone here, he sent me aftermarket radiators. I don't know if they're going to work with those radiator guards, because those radiator guards are specifically made to work with OEM radiators. So we're going to find that out. So stay tuned, subscribe, all that stuff. Next week, we're going to sort that out. But anyway, while that is all going on, now we've got our scissor lift stand. And this is an MSR version, which doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, we got bikes everywhere. But we're putting a new PULSER coil in this thing. I don't know if you remember, this is the one that we tested the PULSER coil, and it was definitely no bueno. It had offline, so infinite resistance. So anyway, so pulling that thing off, we've got a PULSER coil from Ricky Stater right there. So I'll pull that cover off, show you what that looks like, and yeah, we'll just keep rocking and rolling. All right, guys, we got that sucker wired in. So here's the old one. Obviously, like I said, was reading offline. There's our new one. Pretty sweet setup here. We just use these little, I don't know what you call them, but butt connector things with the solder in them, heat shrink style. But we did them on this side of this grommet so that we don't have to deal with trying to thread those wires through there and maybe getting a leak out of there. So super happy about that. Gonna mount that back up. We got a brand new gasket. That's the old one. Gonna put this together. And honestly, right now, fingers freaking crossed that we fix a 350 SXF, because it's been a rough go. That other one, by the way, is still here somewhere. Yeah, the one that probably needs a CDI. Anyway, that thing's still here because those people are giving up on it, but they're also not totally giving up on it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to bolt this thing back up, and let's hit the button and see if we can't get a running motorcycle. All right, guys, we've got oil in it. Let's see. Oh, it's making noise. I think we're going to be good. Hang on. Loud, but it's got a Nihilo manual adjuster for the cam change, so I might just need to tighten that up. got oil in it. I checked that part. But it's running, and that is huge. This thing hasn't run in a very long time. It's got a blinky light. We're gonna figure out what that's doing. Let's see, so it's a 13 code. I'm super happy that we're running. I'm gonna go through, make sure everything's plugged in, hopefully adjust that cam chain. Hopefully that's all that is. It's making that noise. Figure out what a 13 blink code means, and then we'll be back here in just a second. Yes. Success! 350SX is fixed. We finally got one right. I feel good about that. Yeah, that feels really good to get that thing done. I tightened up that Nihilo manual adjuster. Motor got quiet. Everything was good. I do not like manual adjusters on 4-strokes of their cam chain. Let me back that up. They're fine if in like a race situation or when someone really wants to maintain the crap out of a bike and like take time and do all that stuff. They are better. Like they can't back out, they can't fail, all that stuff. The problem is most people don't maintain them enough, and then they have problems. They get loose, make noise. Anyway, so I'm not a big fan. I like the auto ones. I don't like the stock KTM auto ones. Those hydraulically operated ones, they seem to work pretty good, and they actually seem to be getting better. But the DIRTBIKES is my favorite because it's it's like the Japanese style. It's got a little cam inside there and a spring, and it just keeps going click, 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 click out. And it can fail. They can fail, but they're hard to make fail. All right, guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the SHLOG. Sorry, I did not film the actual outro during the end of the week. I'm actually back here on a Monday, editing, doing all kinds of things. So make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe to the channel because the Death March video is coming. Also, some things went super wrong at the Death March, and there's a video following up on that. That's all getting ready to be edited. So make sure you stick around, guys. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.